All right, welcome back, everybody. So I wanted to update you guys really quickly on how things have been going with me doing the cold calling over the last few days. I hit about a week of dialing. So far, it's been none of what I expected because cold calling is something that is it's a skill, and it's something that's very powerful, but it's also something that needs to be developed. So if anybody told you that cold calling is challenging and it has its ups and downs, they are 100% right. But through all those challenges, through all those changes and those hangups and those rough calls, you're going to learn so much about how to communicate with folks and also how to overcome adversity and have resiliency and all those kind of things. So I just want to share with you guys really quickly on where I am and the progress that I've made so far, dabbling on the Glen Coco platform. The campaign that I'm working on specifically, I won't talk about, but I'll share a little bit of the numbers. And let's just for context, I started dialing last Wednesday, May 20th. And over that period, today is the 28th, I think, so Thursday, a little over a week, I made a total of 5,000 dials on the Glen Coco platform, which is crazy because I'm a person who don't even like to answer the phone. I don't even like to text people. I don't like to answer emails or any of that kind of stuff. But I made over 5,000 dials on the Glen Coco platform, and I'm surprised by that. So yeah, that's what it's been so far, and that's after 6 days of dialing. Keep in mind, I'm not counting today's dialing, but let's say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I made a few calls on Saturday. It's a campaign that you can do that for. So I made like 250 days. So that's going to affect the next number I talk about, which is my average calls per day. So starting last Wednesday through Tuesday, I think it was, I made over 5,000 dials over those 6 days, and my average is 836 calls per day, because that Saturday I just went in to kind of test things out on the weekend because I thought that was something that would be not normal to do, but with this campaign that I was working on is absolutely something that you can do and do well. Last thing, the most important thing that you guys probably want to know is how many meetings that I booked in 1 week of dialing, not knowing anything about cold calling. What's that number? Well, making all these calls over this 6 day period, figuring things out, I was able to book 12 meetings. Right. I'm blown away by that because I've never cold called. Really, you learn a lot while doing it, so it's not really a lot of preparation that you can have for it. But I've done a lot of dialing over the last few days, and I've booked 12 meetings. And also on the Glen Coco platform, I already been paid out for one of those meetings, and I have two pending that should pay out this week, which is pretty exciting for a guy who never really cold called before, doesn't like to be on the phone. So far, these are the results that I've generated. And going forward, I'm gonna do these probably like every 5,000 dials or so. Obviously, it won't take me 6 days to hit 5,000 calls again. So the next update should be coming pretty soon when I cross over to that 10,000. That sounds crazy to say. 10,000 calls made. I will be more than likely double this number, and which is 12. I would like that to be much higher since I'm gaining experience and learning how to communicate things, how to deliver the value, how to get in and out of the permission-based opener, which is what we use to start a conversation. And I definitely want to be over this number right here, which is the 836, because on the Glen Coco platform, I think per day, I think the maximum amount of calls that you can make in any given day is 2,000, and they pretty much just shut your dollar off. So my goal is to, of course, take it to that next level, take it to that 2,000, work myself up to that. And over the last few days, I've been ramping up slowly, like hitting 1,200 here, and I think 1,300, close to 1,300 yesterday. So little by little, I'm going to be working my way towards that 2,000 dials per day to ultimately get to my main goal, which is 100,000 cold calls made. And it's more about who I become on this journey rather than what I gain throughout the process. Because if you make calls, you're going to get the results, you're going to earn the money, all the things. But over the process in this journey, who am I becoming? Am I becoming a better communicator? Am I a better listener? That's something that's extremely valuable and so critical, because if you start off with I would say, have a good question, or just ask good questions throughout the process, that person, him or her, will tell you exactly what they need from you. And that's something that I'm working on, because initially I was just coming in with my screenplay. Some people use scripts, some people use screenplays, and the script is something that's pretty standard and pretty basic. But a screenplay is something that, as long as you hit the high notes, like the permission-based opener or the value drop, as long as you hit those high notes, you'll be fine. You get to move through the process. It's a little more fluid, and the script is more rigid. As long as you hit the high notes and you ask good questions, and most importantly, you listen, you're able to book even more meetings and get people the help that you are looking to give them. And a few things that I learned about myself throughout this process, because it's more about the journey and not the destination, is that I was a terrible listener. I used to come on and just steamroll people, just get in and out of the script. And before you know it, I was getting hung up on left and right. Hang up, boom. We don't need you. We don't want you, boom. Just some outlandish things being said to me that, initially when you're making these calls, they affect you a little bit. You think like, dang, like, was that necessary? Was that called for? But throughout the process, you get a little bit of more of a thicker skin. It's something that I believe that I'm learning. Today, I think somebody cussed me out and said like something weird, like "you sound gay," and it did not even bother me. Like, I didn't have to pause my dialer. I didn't have to go for a walk, which is usually my outlet. I just went on to the next call, and that's one of the things that I wanted to build up on this journey, to have thicker skin, to be able to listen better, to be able to concisely convey a message of value to a person. Because when people answer the phone, they're thinking, "What's in it for me? What can I get about this call? What can I get out of this call?" So me, as a person who's making a call, it's not about what I want; it's about how I can help them get what they want, and that's a skill that's extremely invaluable. So that's one of the things that I'm happy about moving forward. Another thing that I've learned also about myself is, sometimes, well, this is what I found out early on. Sometimes you think it's going to be a fight or a struggle when you get somebody on the phone, like, "Hey, I got to go through all these things and jump through all these hoops to show value to you to get that meeting booked." I had a few calls where the person was just like, "Hey, yep, send them over. Bye." Done, easy. And that shocked me. And I learned the very hard way, because I got to a stage where I was qualifying a prospect, and he was saying all the right things, like, "Yeah, I just want it." And I'm asking him like, "Okay." He gave me the location, right? I'm here, I'm working on this house. And I'm like, "Okay, what do you need?" And I just kind of gave away the campaign. I'm like, "What do you need specifically?" He like, "Yeah, just send them over." And me, in my mind, being so particular, trying to figure out exactly what to send the folks over for, I should have just sent them in the first place. He hung up, and I lost out on that. So that'd have been another booking, and it happened to me twice. The second time was the most obvious or glaring one, the example I just gave you. But that was because I wasn't listening. I was just so inside of my script and my screenplay, trying to hit all these points and check all these boxes. And the guy was like, "Yo, I want all of it. Send them over." And that's something that I learned painfully the hard way. And that's something I will never forget. So throughout this whole process, making all these calls, I'm learning so much about myself. I'm learning that money talks, give people what they want. It's not always going to be a struggle or a fight. But if it goes there, you need to be prepared, obviously. Also, that throughout this process of calling, you're going to develop tough skin, because you're going to be talking to so many people and be handling so many objections, and getting hung up on and all those sorts of things. So it's just so much from this journey that I'm learning about myself, and I'm excited about where I'll be at the end of this 100,000 cold call journey. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me. If I did 1,000 calls a day, it would take 100 days of dialing, but obviously I want to be way above this number, and I want to be somewhere like 1,500 plus to that 2,000 cause of that. And that's something I'll ramp up and work my way towards. But until then, guys, I just keep hitting it hard every day, keep learning, keep growing every single day. And I will see you guys on that next update, which will be very soon. All right, everybody. Talk to y'all later. See you on the next one.